A dog's ears snap up the second a guitar riff hits the speaker. Feels like the most natural thing in the world, right? An ear built for sound just doing its job. What if that's not what's actually happening? What if somewhere out there, an animal is tapping its own foot to the beat on purpose, matching your rhythm without missing one? And what if your dog, doing that exact same ear perk thing right now, is actually feeling nothing musical at all? One test splits the animal kingdom in half. Your pet might land on the wrong side of it. Back in the early 2000s, a psychologist named Charles Snowdon at the University of Wisconsin tried something almost nobody had tried before. Instead of playing Mozart for a room full of monkeys and just watching for a reaction, he built music specifically for them. Working with composer David Tay, Snowdon mapped out the actual pitch range and tempo of cotton-top tamarin calls, then wrote 2 short pieces using only those frequencies, one built around a calm feeding call, one built around a threat call. Then he played both for a colony of tamarins and waited to see what they'd do. The results weren't subtle, but before we get to them, here's the part almost nobody expects. Rhesus macaques, tested with regular human music by a different lab years earlier, mostly ignored it completely, choosing plain silence over a symphony every single time they were offered the choice. Dogs in kennel studies do calm down for classical music, but they calm down almost exactly as much for a plain audiobook. Cats can barely be bothered by human songs at all, unless the notes are pitched and paced like an actual cat, purring range and everything. 3 species, 3 completely different answers to what sounds like a simple question. Here's where it gets complicated. A researcher named Aniruddh Patel at Tufts University noticed something buried underneath all these mismatched results. Almost every animal that failed to move to a beat had one specific thing in common. It doesn't learn its own sounds by imitation. Dogs, cats, and monkeys are all born already knowing how to make their calls. They never had to copy one from somebody else. Patel's theory, now widely cited across the field, argues that keeping time to music might not be a general animal skill at all. It might specifically require a brain wired for vocal learning, the exact same wiring a parrot uses to steal your doorbell chime. Scientists have a word for the actual skill in question: entrainment. Syncing your own movement to a beat coming from somewhere outside your body on purpose, and staying locked to it even as the tempo shifts underneath you. Picture clapping along to a song and then having that song suddenly speed up. If you can adjust without losing the beat, you're doing entrainment. Turns out almost no animals can. Almost none, except for a sulfur-crested cockatoo named Snowball. Snowball's owner, Irina Schultz, filmed him bobbing his head and lifting one foot in near-perfect time to a Backstreet Boys song, and the clip went viral years before a single scientist had actually laid eyes on it. So Patel brought Snowball into a proper lab and did the one thing internet virality never bothers to do: he tested it rigorously. He sped the track up, he slowed it down. Across 11 separate tempo changes, Snowball adjusted his dancing to match again and again, ruling out coincidence or clever editing entirely. A parrot, it turned out, could hold a beat better than most humans manage after a couple of drinks. Here's the part science genuinely can't answer yet, though. Watching a bird nail a tempo change tells you the timing circuitry is there. It doesn't tell you whether Snowball is having fun doing it. A calmer heart rate, a lower cortisol reading, a foot landing exactly on the downbeat, all of that is measurable with real instruments. What's actually happening inside a beak while it's happening is not, and probably won't be, not with any tool science currently owns. And yet the field hasn't exactly thrown up its hands. Veterinary researchers at the University of Glasgow, working alongside the Scottish SPCA, piped classical music through kennel speakers for stressed shelter dogs and measured a real, consistent drop in barking and pacing afterward, a result other shelters have since gone on to repeat with their own dogs. Whatever's happening inside these animals species-appropriate sound is doing something real and physical to their nervous systems, whether or not it earns the word enjoyment just yet. Which brings us back to Snowdon's tamarins and the part of that experiment we skipped. Play them the calm, feeding call-based song, and they visibly relaxed, moving less, settling in against each other. Play them the threat-based song built entirely from their own alarm calls, and they got agitated within seconds, some pacing, some baring teeth at a speaker that had done nothing but hand their own language right back to them. Human music, meanwhile, barely moved the needle either way. They weren't reacting to music in general, they were reacting to something that structurally sounded unmistakably like them. Back to Snowball for one more second, because his story doesn't stop at the lab door. Schultz had picked him up secondhand from a bird shop after his original owner could no longer keep him. No formal dance training, no coaching of any kind. He just started doing it on his own, to a song playing in the next room over. Patel still calls him one of the strongest single pieces of evidence for the vocal learning and rhythm link that exists anywhere in the animal kingdom. One accidental cockatoo, dancing alone in someone's living room, doing more for the science than a decade of careful lab work managed on its own. The line between what only humans supposedly feel and what animals can feel too keeps getting redrawn, and it almost always moves in the same direction. 20 years ago, the honest answer to "does any animal feel a beat" was a flat, confident no. Now it's a real, complicated species by species maybe, and the list of animals landing on the maybe side keeps growing every time somebody actually bothers to check properly. Which maybe means it's worth rethinking what you actually play for the animals sharing your own house. Most pet owners default to their own favorite songs for a dog or a cat, quietly assuming a shared taste that was never once established by anyone. The Tamarins never wanted Mozart. They wanted something built out of their own voice, handed back to them. So back to that dog, ears up. At the sound of a guitar riff, everything we've just covered says that perked up reaction almost certainly isn't rhythm, and it almost certainly isn't taste. It's probably just a good ear catching a new sound, plus your own excitement bouncing straight back off the leash. The parrot in a cage across the room, quietly bobbing its head one beat behind the chorus that one might genuinely be listening. If you want to keep asking these questions with us, there's stranger stuff still coming, so subscribe and stick around.